Hello, Maiden Warriors. My name is Brittany, and I am here for the next training video, which is dedicated to how to change your language in order to generate a higher income. And for many of you, you may be wondering, what do you mean by change my language, or what do you mean by that, or maybe a little bit confused as to the context of the video. And what I mean when I say changing your language for higher income is that there truly is a difference between the average salesperson's choice in words and phrases and questions than a 6 or 7 figure consultant or salesperson's language. So I'm just going to dive in and get started and kind of just show you what the differences are. So I just wanted to ask a question before I start, and that question is, did you know that the words you use can actually trigger and scare and cause your prospects to shut down from the moment they meet you, from the moment they open your email or your text message or read your Facebook message? Did you know that a lot of times the words that you're using are causing your prospects to ignore you and be unresponsive and shy away from you? A lot of times you wonder why you're not able to book appointments and close deals and sell products. I believe that it 99% of the time has to do with the way that you're communicating. Communication is key to everything, whether you're even communicating with the right type of prospect, how you're speaking to them, how you're engaging them, how you're starting a conversation. Most salespeople are trained to immediately offer solutions, assume the sell, close a sell, always be closing. And the worst is to ask as many people as they can until they receive a yes. Well, a poll was submitted that most salespeople actually are really uncomfortable with doing the tactics that they're trained to do. So, why is sales, which is the highest paying industry in the world, the least enjoyable for so many people? I mean, it was for me until I figured out a solution, until I got the proper training and education that I needed right here in this community. But I'm going to tell you why. Since probably forever, we have actually been trained to perform sales strategies that worked in the 50s, 60s, 70s, 80s, and even leading up to the early 2000s. But something really catastrophic happened that changed the world for salespeople, and that was the crash in 2008. After that, the economy really dropped. A lot of people stopped trusting not only salespeople and companies that had been around for years, but they literally stopped trusting the government. If you don't trust the government, do you really think someone that doesn't trust the government is going to trust that you're telling them the right thing? No, they're not. So the way that we have to earn our prospect and clients' trust completely changed. Whereas before, a lot of times people believed what a salesperson told them and believed that, salespeople had their best interest at heart. But with the growing change in how we access information, the fact that trust is pretty much dead as far as salespeople go, it really changed the way salespeople were viewed. All of the things that kind of told you what a salesperson was, the enthusiasm, the always closing, the assuming of the sell, and the overconfidence is now what draws people away. Okay, so with that being said, we have to totally learn what approaches and strategies work in this day and age. And our solution, which has caused many of our consultants to grow our sales by 70, 80, and 90% close rates is learning the new way of selling and the special language that's really required to gain trust and to become an authority in your industry, whether your industry is direct sales or makeup, your own boutique. This sales training can apply to any industry. Just for example of some things that your language should be focused on, your language should really be focused on your customer. And people hear and speak about put the customer first all the time, but we really mean it. I mean, in everything that you do, it should be revolved around, can I help this person? Let me ask them questions. Be curious with your prospect. Figure out their problems, if they even have any problems. Help them to figure out what their struggles are. You need to know these things. You need to know what is this person going through that your solution can help solve for them. Helping and providing service and an open dialogue of communication that's casual, but still professional and helpful and not overly enthusiastic or excited is what prospects are looking for. They're looking to be heard and understood, not be presented to or pitched another story or the things that we've traditionally been taught. And this is the reason why over 90% of salespeople struggle and dislike their jobs and jump from program to program and system to system and change their strategies and ideas all the time. A sad part is that a lot of the gurus who we look up to are not even giving the correct information. I've done a lot of research, and so have other consultants in the community who are a part of the sales training. And some of the top gurus and top companies are training their consultants in a way that is really not effective. Certain messages that are being sent on Facebook, creating groups and adding all your friends and family to them and then posting content every single day, multiple times a day, doing live videos promoting your product. Yes, these bring about awareness and an emphasis to your brand, but they also are annoying and in your face, and they come off as this pushy salesperson. It's unfortunate because a lot of companies are pushing this, and I believe that's what really sets us apart, because we know that those tactics may work for a little while when you first start out, but they fizzle out immediately. And by then you spend a lot of money and time on resources and products. And a lot of these companies are aware of this as well. It's really unfortunate, and how a lot of individuals are spending more money on products and shows and doing things to boost their business, and they're not seeing an end result. And that is why we're dedicated to helping create more successful female entrepreneurs and sales leaders. Your number one goal that you should try to reach is focusing on the problems. Focus on your prospect. Focus on if they have any problems, and focus if it's even possible for you to help them. If you can't help them, move on. It's that simple. I mean, how would you talk to your prospect if they were a friend of yours? Would you be detached from the outcome of making the sale? And would you maybe speak more about their goals or their dreams or what they're really struggling with? You would. And this is how you should speak to a prospect. Tell them something that you might feel will help them, as opposed to telling them what you know will help them before you even know if they have a problem or something that they're struggling with. Okay? So I'm just going to go into an example of a way to go about doing that. So the first thing you want to do, a question that you may want to ask someone is, Mary, I might have a solution that could possibly help you. But first, let me ask you more about your next XYZ. This is a really great question to ask when you are engaging with someone who you want to share your opportunity with, but you first want to find out if they even need your problem. So let's say you've booked an appointment, or you are meeting someone for the first time, and you want to showcase or share something with them that you may feel will help them, or they want to know a little bit more about what you have to offer. You might look at them and say, Mary, I might have a solution that could possibly help you. But first, let me ask you more about XYZ. You want to stay neutral and ask some background questions to engage. When you ask them questions, it shows that you're not just focused on selling something to them, but you're focused on really discovering what their needs are and what will be best for them in the long term. Don't be overly excited, like I said, but make sure you're using words like might and possibly, because you don't want to come across like the pushy salesperson who's trying to get people excited and assuming the sell and really over promising. That's something that I struggled with for quite a long time. And the moment I changed that, it literally was like magic how people were just much more interested in what I had to say when I just calmed down, kept it neutral, told them what I may be able to do for them. And it literally works like magic. And I feel odd saying that because it's like works like magic, but the reason why it works is because you're really coming from a place of wanting to help someone to figure out a solution to their problem instead of just selling them something that will provide a solution to your problem, which is not having any money, so you need to make sales. Another interesting statement that you could use, a language that you could use when you're trying to make a sell, is to never make an assumption. Use phrases like, well, what would you like your next steps to be? Or where would you like to go from here? High performers never assume any sales. We always ask for permission, and if it's appropriate to go to the next step. You need to be focused on not trying to persuade this individual, but influencing them on what they need, because when they persuade themselves, that is the strongest and most successful way of getting a sell. Okay. Don't focus on trying to persuade them. Ask them questions that allow them to persuade themselves. And we'll get more into that as the training grows and you watch more videos on ways to help individuals to persuade themselves. The next approach for language is very, very powerful for people who are coaches or consultants and women in direct sales. And I like to use the Maiden Warriors community just because this is the community where you're receiving the training, and because you actually get paid for helping women to receive this training as well as starting their own businesses. So for training purposes, I will use that community as a way for helping you to understand a little bit more on the techniques and strategies. So here's a phrase that you could use to change your language from a pushy salesperson to a 1% top closing. Let's just say you are trying to speak with someone and you don't want to come across pushy, but you do want to find out a little bit more about them at the meeting or place that you've engaged with them. So here we go. Well, Mary, we do have several individuals who share the same experience and situation that you have that we work with, but I'm not quite convinced that you should really go with us yet. And it might be appropriate if I actually found out more about you and, your situation and what specific training you're looking for to see if we could actually help you. For example, could you tell me more about what you're doing to get more sales in your direct sales company? Or you could say something like, we do have several individuals who share the same experience that you do that we work with, Mary, but I'm not quite convinced that you should go with us yet. And it really might be more appropriate if I found out a little bit more about you and what type of online business you're looking to start to see if we could actually help you. For example, tell me what type of services and products are you interested in having and selling online. Now, the reason this statement is so powerful, ladies, is because it really shows the prospect, the client, your customer, that your concern is for them and not closing or assuming the sell. I mean, this one statement is so powerful because it builds an instant attraction, it builds trust with your prospect, and it truly allows them to open up more to you. I mean, how amazing does it actually feel to say this and engage with them and come across from a place of helping as opposed to saying, well, we've got several individuals who use this product. Would you be interested in trying on this to see if it works for you? Or we have several people who are a part of the community. I think you'd really enjoy it. I think it'd be a really good fit for you. Are you ready to sign up? Those are not the way that you wanna close, or even if you're trying to book an appointment with someone and have them to showcase something. A lot of times the average salesperson will say something like, wow, I think you'd be really good at hosting a party. How about we get some of your friends and have a party and I can come over and show a little bit more about what I do. As awesome as that may sound to you, to another person, maybe they had a bad experience with the party. Do they know what type of products you have? Are they interested in the products that you have? How do you know that their friends who they invite are going to be interested? That's what the background questions are for. Okay? So another reason why this statement is very powerful is because it really just avoids the words that a lot of times we use, such as, I'm just going to discuss 4 words that we try not to use when we're talking to prospects. And those words are recruit, contract, sign up, and close. They just, for a long time, have been associated to pushy salespeople. So instead of recruit into the community, we like to say help individuals join, help more women to join the community. Instead of contract, or let me go ahead and get you to sign the contract, we say, I'd love to go ahead and help you sign the agreement, the authorization agreement to get you started, to help get you started. Or what would you like the next steps to be as far as getting the authorization agreement set up and you started on your journey? Another one, sign up. It just has a connotation that comes across like the pushy salesperson. We like to use the word next step, or like another one you could use join, and instead of using the word close. Close and sign up are kind of similar. We like to say, yes, instead of saying, yes, I closed the sale today. Yes, I helped Mary receive what she needed today. Yes, I helped Jane to join the community and now she's on her way to starting her successful business the right way. So those are just a couple of words that you can kind of switch out, and you can even think of other words that you may be using that can be triggering fear and a shutdown for your prospects. Here's another example of something that you could say to switch out a word. The next step would be to, authorize the agreement to join the community and make some type of arrangement for payment. Then at that point, we can get you started if you like. You would be prepared to receive XYZ and et cetera, et cetera, et cetera. Those are typically what you would substitute in. And you always want to use the question, would that be appropriate? Or how does that make you feel? Or would you be comfortable with that? So to repeat this, we're going to say the individual is ready to get started. So it's ready to join the membership community. You would say, all right, well, that's awesome, Mary. The next step would be to go ahead and authorize the agreement to join the community and make some type of arrangement for payment. Then at that point, we can get you started with your training. Would that be appropriate? See how much easier that sounds, more helpful that sounds? It doesn't sound pushy at all. So the next thing that we want to talk about is trying to set up appointments. A lot of times, ladies are just really not getting the mark when it comes to booking appointments, whether it's on the phone or in person. And it's really, once you get it down, it's so easy. I booked 10 appointments in 1 week just from changing some of my sales tactics and sales strategies and tips. A good way to go into that is, let's say you're at an event and someone asks you what you do, and you use your personalized introduction, which you should always be using, and they're interested in learning more about what you have to offer. So let's say someone's like, hi, my name is Sue. I work for XYZ company. What do you do? Hi, my name is Brittany. It's nice to meet you, Sue. What I do, well, you know how a lot of women struggle to start their own business, or are really tired of working the 9-to-5 job, and a lot of times join direct sales programs or try to figure out something that they can start on their own. Well, what I do is I help women like this to form a plan, figure out what they can do, and attract, to make this happen. And I also help them to get the resources and tools that they need to become successful with this idea. After you answer and that was off the top of my head. That's not my personalized introduction, but that's just something off the top of my head. Your personalized introduction would be much more organized, I would hope. And after you say that and they're like, wow, that's really interesting. I actually I'm in direct sales, and I actually am struggling with getting, people to join and XYZ. You could say something like a very simple question, no pressure, very neutral, asking for permission, of course. Well, that's great. I help women in your situation all the time. If you'd be comfortable, we could actually touch base this week to see if we could, chat and see if I could actually even help you. I'm available Thursday after 2 if that works for your schedule. Would that work? So this is just a great way to set up an appointment with a casual question that's not too pushy, but still gets the point across. After your personalized introduction, after you tell someone what you can help them with, you should immediately go into how can you go ahead and get an appointment locked in? How can you go ahead and schedule a time to meet them at a different place? I don't recommend doing the presentation right then and there, or doing an appointment with them right then and there, because you should be busy. You should come across as busy, and you really shouldn't do them on the spot because it doesn't really give you enough time to plan. So let's say you meet someone at a meet and greet or an event, and they say, I'd love to hear a little bit more about your business and what I think you might be able to help me. You can say something like, oh, that sounds great. I should be available tomorrow afternoon after 1 p.m. Would it be appropriate for us to touch base then? Or would you feel comfortable if we touch base later this week to see if we could, chat and see if I can actually help you? Always ask permission. Okay. These 2 sentences here can really help you significantly when setting up appointments and booking different things, so that you can go further into learning more about the individual and things of that nature. This language really sets you apart from other salespeople because you're asking for the same thing from prospects, but you're asking in a better and a more trusting and more comfortable tone. And the difference is that you're coming from a place of help, service, and solutions. The other people, and maybe you in the past, and I know myself, was coming from a place of needy, as if we needed the sell, assuming the sell, and wanting to sell. You shouldn't want to sell anything until you know you can help someone. So the way to do that is, like I said, to not assume the sell, be neutral, let go of your excitement, enthusiasm for the sell, and focus on what you can do to truly help this person. Okay? This will capture them. It immediately draws them in. They can feel your sincerity and feel that you're genuinely interested in what they have to say, what they need, and what's best for them. You're not over-promising them anything. You're simply giving them time to share and open up and engage to see if it's even possible for you to help them. Okay? It's very difficult for us to do at times because when you know your company is amazing and you know your products are great and that literally everyone could benefit from them, it's hard not to want to talk someone into something or be persuasive. But when you see that that's not working, you have to figure out and do what is logical for this day and age. And that is to allow them to persuade themselves. They must persuade themselves with your help, of course, through the questions that you're asking them. But focus on their problem, focus on what they're looking for, instead of trying to present your story, present who you are, provide your solution. And stop telling people who you work for and what your product is and what your product does when you first meet them. Okay? Just stop doing it, ladies. Use the personalized introduction that you were taught. Don't mention your product or the services or anything. Engage them first with the personalized introduction. If they want to know more information, tell them you love to chat more about what you do. If it's comfortable with you, I'd love to, maybe we could touch base sometime this week, set up an appointment, and then go over the next video that we taught, which is the presentation and the meeting. This is the way to success. This is the way to top figure 5 and 6 figures a month and a year sales. It works. It's real. It's based on helping. It's based on service, and it's based on communicating the right way. So I want to thank you so much for your time in this video, ladies. I'm really glad I was able to assist you and help you. And I will see you in the next video. Thank you so much. And you ladies have a wonderful, wonderful, wonderful day. Bye.